In the early hours of June 1st, 2025, Ukrainian Kamikaze drones ignited Russian bombers on the ground, deep inside Russian territory, causing chaos and shockwaves across the military landscape. But what exactly happened that night? How did Ukraine pull off an operation that reached hundreds of kilometers behind Russian lines? And what does this mean for the future of drone warfare and the conflict itself? In this video, we'll break it all down step by step. Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, drones have become a crucial tool in Ukraine's arsenal. We saw it during the early stages of the conflict when Turkish Bayraktar drones were extraordinarily effective in neutralizing Russian armored columns and artillery. But as Russia hardened its air defenses, Ukraine adapted too, this time with suicide drones, including low-cost FPV quadcopters. Small, cheap, and easy to deploy, these drones have evolved from reconnaissance to direct strikes. And now, as we saw on June 1st, they're hitting Russian soil with precision and audacity. But this wasn't just another drone attack on border regions or military convoys. This was something far more ambitious, a direct blow to the heart of Russia's strategic air power, striking aircraft that Moscow uses to rain cruise missiles on Ukrainian cities. Why did Ukraine launch this daring attack? The answer is Russia's fleet of strategic bombers like the Tu-95 Bear and Tu-22M3 Backfire, which have been pounding Ukraine with K-101 cruise missiles and other long-range weapons for months. These aircraft can launch devastating strikes from hundreds of kilometers away, hitting infrastructure and power grids. By striking these bombers at their home airfields, Ukraine wasn't just sending a message, it was a calculated strike to degrade Russia's long-range strike capability and to reduce the missile barrages that have caused so much destruction. Here's how it unfolded. Just before dawn, Ukraine's security service, the SBU, launched Operation Spider's Web, a precision strike on 4 key Russian airbases: Belaya, Olenya, Dyagilevo, and Ivanovo. They used small first-person view kamikaze drones. These were smuggled into Russia in the roofs of wooden sheds mounted on trucks. For 18 months, Ukrainian operatives had smuggled FPV drones into Russia using disguised cargo shipments through Kazakhstan. Once the trucks reached the bases, the roofs opened up like a hatch, and the drones launched directly at Russian bombers parked on the tarmac. These FPV drones, usually modified commercial quadcopters or fixed-wing hobby aircraft, carried up to 3 kilograms of explosives, enough to destroy critical components of the aircraft like fuel tanks or engines. Because these drones were launched from mere meters away, they bypassed Russia's layered radar defenses and had virtually no warning time, and that was just the first wave. Later that evening, as darkness fell, a second wave of attacks began, this time using long-range fixed-wing drones launched from Ukrainian territory. These drones flew low and slow, hugging the terrain and slipping past radar coverage to strike cities and industrial sites across Russia, from Voronezh and Lipetsk to the outskirts of Moscow itself. Some reports suggest these drones even approached their targets from multiple directions, making it even harder for Russian air defenses to respond. Technically, the attack was a masterclass in mixed drone warfare. The short-range FPV drones used at airbases were essentially hobby-grade quadcopters adapted with explosives, a prime example of asymmetric warfare. They're small, agile, and hard to detect by radar because of their low flight profile and minimal radar signature. Their range is typically just a few kilometers, but by placing them right at the target, Ukraine turned that short range into a deadly advantage. The long-range drones, likely models like Ukraine's UJ-22 or the Beaver Ta, are propeller-driven fixed-wing aircraft with ranges of several hundred kilometers. They're equipped with GPS or GLONASS navigation and can carry warheads of up to 10 or even 20 kilograms. These drones are programmed with waypoints to skirt known air defense zones and exploit gaps in radar coverage. In total, around 170 drones were launched that night, a mix of small quadcopters for precision hits and larger aircraft-type UAVs for deep strikes. The sheer volume of drones forced Russia's air defense into a reactive posture, chasing shadows across a vast airspace. So how did Russia respond? Russia's air defense network is layered and complex. In border regions like Belgorod and Kursk, long-range S-300 and S-400 surface-to-air missile systems guard the skies. These can shoot down high-flying aircraft or fast-moving cruise missiles, but they struggle against low-flying, slow-moving drones. Closer to Moscow and key military installations, Russia deployed Panzer S-1 anti-aircraft systems, truck-mounted units that combine cannons and missiles designed specifically for low-altitude threats like drones and helicopters. Electronic warfare units also played a role, trying to jam the communication and navigation links of incoming UAVs. In urban areas, searchlights and small arms fire added a final layer of defense, a throwback to anti-aircraft tactics from World War II. By the morning of June 2nd, Russia's Ministry of Defense claimed it had shot down 162 drones across 9 regions. That number includes drones shot down by missiles, jammed by electronic warfare, or simply crashing due to navigation errors. But despite these claims, Ukraine's close-range attacks at airfields bypassed most of these defenses entirely. The most significant damage was to Russia's strategic bomber fleet, a cornerstone of their ability to launch missile strikes into Ukraine. Ukraine claims to have damaged or destroyed up to 41 aircraft, including Tu-95 Bear bombers, Tu-22M3 Backfire bombers, and even the A-50U airborne radar planes used for battlefield coordination. If these numbers are accurate, that's about a third of Russia's long-range bomber fleet and a major blow to their capacity to launch massed missile attacks. And beyond the physical damage, this attack shattered the illusion that Russia's strategic forces, deep inside its borders, were safe from Ukrainian strikes. For the first time, Russian civilians saw and heard the buzz of Ukrainian drones overhead in cities that were once considered beyond the reach of the war. This attack exposed critical gaps in Russia's air defenses. Systems like the S-400 are built to counter high-speed, high-altitude targets, but small, slow drones flying just a few meters off the ground are a different challenge altogether. These drones have tiny radar cross-sections, making them hard to see and track, especially when launched from inside Russian territory. Russia is now racing to adapt. More electronic warfare units, new radar systems with better low-altitude coverage, and even experimental directed energy weapons like lasers and microwave systems are in the works. But these take time to develop and deploy, and as long as Ukraine can launch drones from Russian territory itself, these vulnerabilities will remain. So what does this mean going forward? For Ukraine, it's a powerful demonstration of how even small, commercially available drones can be transformed into precision strike weapons with strategic impact. With German backing, including $5.7 billion in military aid and rumored approval to use Taurus cruise missiles, Ukraine now has both the political and technological support to escalate. For Russia, it's a chilling reminder that no airbase, no matter how deep inside the country, is truly safe. The future of air defense isn't just about shooting down missiles or jets, it's about stopping cheap, disposable drones that can come from anywhere. And for the rest of the world, this is another sign that drone warfare is here to stay. Small, adaptable drones are rewriting the rules of modern conflict, and the gap between high-tech defenses and low-cost drones is growing wider. So what happens next? Will we see more of these deep drone raids? Almost certainly. In the battle between high-tech air defenses and cheap, clever drones, the game is far from over. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments below. We'll be back with more deep dives into the technologies shaping our world. Stay tuned.